Janthir Wilds is beautiful, but does the gameplay and longevity of this expansion live up to it? Here's my full review. Stick around for the verdict at the end. After completing nearly every single achievement in the latest Guild Wars 2 expansion, Janthir Wilds, I wanted to share my thoughts. A quick disclaimer, this video covers the original release of the Janthir Wilds and does not include any of the planned quarterly updates. There will be no story spoilers. I'm Surma, and with that out of the way, let's dive right in. The story of Guild Wars 2 Janthir Wilds is loosely connected to the previous expansions, Secrets of the Obscure, but does not require any prior knowledge. It consists of 2 acts with a total of 10 story missions. All in all, they are quite long and take a few hours to complete, depending on your speed. It starts very slowly and is very lore intensive, with a lot of non-skippable dialogue. In the third there's finally some more exciting combat and a mysterious development that paves the way for what will hopefully be a very good sequel. In general, I would say that the lowland Codan get a lot of depth through the story and it feels very fitting for the environment we are in. But for my taste, the pacing was much too slow. I have to say though, that I can imagine lore nerds being much more enthusiastic about the story in Janthir Wilds. There are 2 new maps with Janthir Wilds and they are both beautiful. The first one feels very similar to Grothmar Valley, in a more Icelandic setting, as it has no big meta events but a huge amount of small events and event chains. It feels very alive because there's so much to discover in terms of the story and there are always events and NPCs in the area you are exploring. Most of the events are on a very low timer, so if you need that one event for an achievement you don't have to wait long, and there are always other players around to help you. There are also 3 jumping passes on the map. Each one has a little twist to it and they are actually quite rewarding to do every day. The second map is much darker and has a bit of a Raid Wing 2 and 3 feeling to it, with bloodstones and white mantle around. There's a meta event that feels quite appropriate and is not too easy but not as challenging as the End of Dragons boss. The second map is beautiful in its own way, but feels a little less alive, especially in the northwest. Hopefully this will change with the next quarterly update in November. Overall, I think the maps are very good and integrate the features of the expansions such as the Warclaw and Homesteads very well. In fact, I think the first map might be the best map Guild Wars 2 has ever gotten. The revamped Warclaw is a jack of all trades and a lot of fun to use. With all the associated masteries unlocked, it can now jump in mid-air. It can also sniff out some of the loot that is required for the upcoming legendaries. Finally, the Warclaw can be mounted in combat to deal a special amount of CC to bosses, for example. This is much better implemented than the forced skyscale usage in Secrets of the Obscure. All in all, the Warclaw feels very fitting and very well reworked. There are 3 new mastery lines, one for the Warclaw, one for the Homesteads and one for the map and the interaction with the lowland Codans. None of them are particularly flashy, but the Warclaw mastery not only allows you to master the Warclaw's riding and jumping skills, but also reduces falling damage while mounted on a Warclaw, and increases stamina regeneration for all mounts. This is a welcome addition for most people, but a bit of a hassle for the Beetle racing community, who will have to redo all their race records. Homestead Mastery allows you to buy recipes for decorating your homesteads, increase your homestead space, and also give you a rest buff for your characters after leaving them in your homestead for a while. This will increase not only your experience gain in PvE, but also your reward track gain in the competitive modes. Lowland Codan Mastery improves your ability to explore the Janthir Wild map. For example, by increasing your experience gain there. You should therefore level this first. After all, it gives you more loot when exploring and, most importantly, allows you to use spears on land for any profession. Overall, the masteries are a nice addition, but nothing special and can be done quickly and without much effort. This is because there are plenty of events to gain experience from and plenty of extra mastery points, so there should be no need to do all the achievements just to unlock all the masteries. As with all Guild Wars 2 expansions, there are plenty of achievements to unlock. In fact, there are at least 7 hidden achievements as well. Unlocking them all is fun too, as there are no long waits for events or other painful activities. The adventures may be a bit of a challenge for some, but for me they are one of the highlights of the expansion. 2 quests turn you into salmon, and you have to swim as fast as you can along the river and sometimes across land to beat the high score. It's incredibly fun. Daily repeatable hard quests are also back with another iteration of the system, which includes some sort of reputation progress for each daily completion in a title and an achievement at the end. It seems okay, but nothing spectacular. Of course, there are also story achievements, which are not particularly difficult, but some of them require you to listen to the story's rather lengthy conversations again, and can therefore be a bit painfully long. Big winner for me were the Janthir side stories. Not only are they fairly quick and not unnecessary MMO quests, but they are also very witty and funny. Be sure to check them out. With so much new content, there are also plenty of new rewards. The maps reward you through events and quest completion, and completing the meta event and jumping puzzles will provide you with the resources you need to upgrade and decorate your homestead. Even if you have nothing to do with player homesteads, you can still make a lot of money from them, as selling the rewards to players who want to decorate them is very lucrative. Wizard World also has been updated with a new season of rewards, including a new legendary starter kit. In terms of relics, there are 6 new relics, mostly unlocked through achievements, that are quite good, and some of them have some cool new gimmicks. You also now have to unlock the relics to get access to them in your legendary relic. If you want to hear my full thoughts on the new relics, check out my video in the top right hand corner. There are 3 new armor sets and 2 new weapon sets in this expansion. The only criticism I have of the rewards in Janthir Wilds is, as with Soto, the lack of legendaries at launch. It is a bit of a bad feeling to grind for something that will be released sometime in the future. I think it would be much better if you could get, say, the new legendary spear now and not have to wait 3 months for it. For me as a non-homestead player, there's no new reward to go after right now. With Janthir Wilds, every class gained the ability to use spears on land that were previously only usable underwater. These are not new elite specs, but the spears do feel very good in general. In PvE, most of the spears are not only very strong, but they also add value to each class to fill a niche that in some cases was desperately needed. For example, Mesmers get a melee AoE spear because they did not have a weapon that could fill that role. The damage numbers on some of them might be a little too high.
Now that's a lot of damage!
But that's more fun than having them too low at the start of an expansion, right? Some spears, like the Guardian one, are really strong in World vs World and feel like they were made for that content. In player vs player, a weapon needs to be a bit more than just raw DPS, so only a few of them are being played in the current meta. If you want to know more about the performance of spears for each class in each game mode, check out my tier list videos. Finally, and most importantly, all spears feel really fun to play in all game modes, and the animations and effects are stunningly beautiful, which adds to the fun. If you want to see me cooking up some spear builds in SPVP and trying to win with them, be sure to check out one of my live streams or their VODs. Player housing has been a long-awaited feature for Guild Wars 2, and it is finally here. After a few story steps in Guild Wars 2 Janthir Wilds, every player will get a private location with not only a rather large wooden house, but also a huge surrounding area. I have not yet explored all the features available, as there are a lot of options to choose from and a lot of money to spend to decorate the homestead to your liking. The decorating features and handling are very good, and you can even fly around to build huge structures in your own style. Not only can you change the time of the day to get some fancy aurora borealis in the sky, but you can also view all your mounts in your stable. In addition, any characters you log out of your homestead will remain there, so you can even have a small or large, depending on the number of character slots you have, party. There are hundreds of decorations to craft or buy, all of which require you to engage with the content of Janthir Wilds and spend some gold or time to acquire the necessary resources. All in all, homesteads are one of the best, if not the best player housing in any MMO that I have ever seen. And I hope that ArenaNet will expand on this feature in the future, not only to make new content more attractive, but also to revive some old content for new unlocks for your homesteads. The possibilities are endless. With the release of Janthir Wilds, there are 2 maps and quite a few new achievements, events and masteries to get. However, all of its current long-term goals revolve around 2 major things. The first thing is homesteads. As mentioned in the reward section, a lot of the rewards in Janthir Wilds are specifically designed for homesteads. This is good for people who want to get involved with player homesteads and get the most fancy decorations possible. These people have hundreds of hours of grinding and farming ahead of them to achieve their ultimate goals. Unfortunately, for people like me who do not have the creativity or interest to get involved with homesteads, there's only one thing left to do after completing all the achievements. Wait. The next quarterly update, due in November, will not only bring new endgame content such as convergences, which are 50 player raids, and a new raid, but also a new legendary spear to grind for. At the moment, some of the materials you need are already available, so you can farm them. It would be a lot more fun if we didn't have to wait so long to get our carrot though, right? I have to admit that I played quite a bit over the past week, so if you are a more casual player, you will probably get weeks of content for your money, even without the upcoming quarterly patches. If you like my reviews and guides, why not subscribe? It would help me a lot to grow my channel, and I would really appreciate it. Anyway, on to the next chapter. Purchasing Janthir Wilds also includes content from the upcoming 3 quarterly releases, which are not yet available. These include story expansion, 2 new maps, 80 new relics, more masteries, more armor and weapon sets, and last but not least, a new raid with challenge and legendary modes, as well as a new convergence and fractal, each with a challenge mode. Legendary spear and backpack are also on the way. The normal mode raid and convergence will be released in November along with the new legendary spear. Sadly, that is a long time to wait for people like me, who are interested in new instance content and or want a shiny carrot to chase. Guild Wars 2's latest expansion, Janthir Wilds, takes us to new Icelandic-themed maps with story-driven quests and dialogue that may be too slow-paced for speedy players like myself, but the expansion definitely delivers on the world and character building side. Furthermore, the Masteries do not feel mind-blowing, but are a fitting addition to the environment. The Warclaw mount redesign feels really good and fun to use, which is very important for mounts that could potentially pull players away from the normal and amazing combat of Guild Wars 2. With all classes now able to use underwater spears on land, there's a lot of new build variety. Also, all of the new spear skills look very cool and play very well. Rewards are mainly focused around player housing, as it is the big new feature of the expansion. It is incredibly well done and should provide hundreds of hours of decorating and farming for new decorations for interested players. For those who are not interested in player housing, there's nothing new to do after the first playthrough apart from the achievements, and they will have to wait until November for the new convergence and raid release, as well as the new legendary spear. Overall, I think Janthir Wilds is definitely worth its price and you should give it a go. If you enjoyed this video, please do not forget to leave a like. Thanks a lot for watching, I hope to see you in the next video.